All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is David King. I'm with Appulate. I've been with our company for about 5 years now. I'm currently the customer success manager for Appulate. I handle all of our trainings for our retail customers. That's why I'm presenting today our webinar. Um, Appulate's been around for a long time. We've been around since 2005. Most of you may have received an email asking if you're interested in learning about our software. We have the ability to quote free quotes on our platform, which we're going to go through today. We're also going to walk you through from beginning to end on how to check to see if you have an Appulate account, and if you don't, how to set that up. And then we're going to move into quoting, how to complete a quote in Appulate, how to find markets, all that stuff we're going to do in a very short order today. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Go ahead and just kind of close this up. Again, my name is David King. If you need any technical support, such as maybe you're getting a bug or something in the system, support at Appulate's here to help you. And we are going to briefly discuss our premium feature, or excuse me, our premium side called Producer Connect Premium. And if you want to inquire about that, sales@appulate.com is who you'd reach out to get that information. Okay, without further ado, we're going to just go ahead and dive into the system here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to open up your browser, and what you'll need to type in is you'll go how I've got shown here, appulate.com, and it'll go to browse, and you'll see a website that looks a lot like this. From here, you'll go to what's called login right up top here, and this is going to bring you to a screen here. Now, many of you may already have a login already included in this, already have an account. So the first thing I would do is try typing in your email address in here and try to see if you can acquire an account. And if you can't, try doing forget password. You may not realize it, but like I said, you may already have an account. And if that doesn't work, then just go to sign up down here. And this is going to ask you for your agency information, your user information. Once you get to this email spot, if it says you already have an existing email and you can't reset that password, shoot support at appulate.com an email, and we'll be happy to help you reset that password or figure out what's going on. Sometimes you're maybe part of a larger group, a larger agency, and maybe you were somehow added. It's just hard to say. But let's go back. I'm gonna go ahead and get logged in here and show you guys how this works here. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my test agency account here just to kind of do a demonstration. I'm gonna go ahead and log in. And now I'm kind of brought to this main landing page here. Now from here, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is go right up to the top here and go to Tools. Under Tools, we're gonna wanna download Uplink. This is a critical piece of the software because Appulate's main focus is single point of entry. We don't want you to have to type in a bunch of information into our system just to end up having to type it in somewhere else again. So we're going to allow you to take an accord and bring it right into the system. So you click this uplink driver here, and as you notice here, it's got some really easy requirements. Pretty much everybody's computer is going to meet these. And if you're on a Mac, it'll prompt you to download it for Mac. You're happy to hit your AMS, which you're using in here. If you've got none, that's fine too. This works with pretty much every agency management system out there. But also, if you have an Accord, you can just click it from your desktop or from an email, whole bunch of ways to do this. But you just simply click download the Windows driver. You'll get that. You'll install that software. Now, one little note for you. If you're running Outlook on your computer, there is a driver into Outlook that's going to help it actually uplink right from Outlook itself. So you'll need to close Outlook because there will be a conflict, and then you can just reopen it after you're done installing the software. And then you'll notice there's this little icon on there that shows uplink, which I'll show you in some facet here in a little bit. It'll basically have an icon like this in Outlook, and you can do it right from there. But anyways, okay, we're going to go ahead and start with an Accord here. Let me go ahead and get my demo going here. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open up an Accord. Now, what's recommended to do here is once you've installed that software here, is either to have an Accord filled out like I have here, or from your agency management system. Basically, what that driver does is it creates a printer driver for you. So as you notice here, I've got my Canon printer and I've got my uplink driver now. So it's a printer driver. So I select that, and then I just make sure all my settings are default on my printer, on my printer settings, and I just hit print. And now what it's going to do, it's going to prompt me for my credentials again. So if you notice, here's my credentials. That's what we worked on just on that last screen there. You would type those in again. It'll save it once you do it one time. And then from here, you just hit send. And now what the system is going to do is it's going to read this data and it's going to bring up a new window into Appulate here, which it's doing. Okay. And now it's going to bring us to a different screen here. And it's going to say, hey, what line of business do you want to use this for? Well, the system is smart enough to read that I used an Accord 130 for workers' comp. So it's prompting me for workers' comp. But let's say we brought in a 125 and we're trying to work on a package, or or 126 for commercial auto, or whatever BOP or whatever form you brought in. This is where you would choose a different line of business other than what you have here. From here, we'll hit continue. Okay, and now we're brought to the kind of the next screen here. So up in the upper left corner here, we have Golden Apple Nursery. This is going to be our insured shown here. So over on the left-hand side, I've got Golden Apple Nursery. I've got all my insured's information. If I need to edit this for any reason, I can just hit edit. I can change, add notes, whatever I want to do to this customer here. And then on the right over here, we've got this workers' comp quote. So this is the data that we just brought in, created a new quote shown here. Now, if I wanted to add new lines, maybe I'm doing 2 or 3 different lines for customer or a package and some other lines, I would hit request quote. And that's when I would go in and I would add those other lines. So I'll just show you real quick. If I do that, I hit this, it's asking me what line, asks me if it's a renewal, just some additional information. I can put that in there, super easy. For now, we're just going to focus on this main quote here. All right, so now we're into this quote here. Now we've got a couple different tabs here that I want to show you, but before I do that, I want to keep going up top here. So if you notice, it says WC, this is for workers' comp. It won't let me change this because in order to do that, I need to be on that last screen, which I click here and I can go there. Then right next to this is my effective date. So I'm going to change this. My cord's a little old, so I need to change this information. So we'll just change this. We'll put it May 1st. 0501. Oh, come on. Delete it all out. 0501 2024. There we go. I'll hit save. Okay. So now I've got an updated effective date. We're good there. Now what we can do is if we want to add any additional data to this insured, we're going to click on this insured tab here. So I'm going to click on that. And if you're going to notice here in just a moment, this is all the data that I just brought in from that Accord. I've got previous loss carrier information, contact, executives, location data, all that's been brought in for us from that Accord. So we don't have to retype that in. But if you find that there's some data that's missing that you want to add to this, maybe they've got other locations that you need to add on to. You can either manually add those here, or you can ask your insured to do those with this little Ask Insured button. You just click this, you fill this out, you send a questionnaire over to the insured, right? And then once they get it, what's really neat is they're going to be able to see a kind of a similar version, and you can put like little notes in there and just say, hey, can you go in there and add your additional locations for me? Or can you add extra vehicles for me? Or, whatever information you want to get from them to continue filling out the customer's information. Or maybe you just want them to verify stuff. That's fine too, right? So once we're all done with this section, we'll go to quote request. Now from here, what we're going to want to do is we need to add some markets. So Appulate is really great in the fact that we have access, and I'm going to show you guys how to find these here. We have access. Actually, let me show you the easier way to do this. Under help, so we went up top here to help. There's the submission matrix. So I'm going to click on that. And this is going to open up all the markets that we have connections with. Now, there's some things that some guidance here I need to give you to make sure that this goes smoothly for you. So if you notice, we have this gold cloverleaf right here. These are going to be our open brokerage markets. All of these markets are going to allow you to submit to them without requiring an appointment. Now, to bind this, you're still going to need to be appointed, but these typically have very flexible and easy appointment standards. So you should be able to get an appointment fairly easy with these companies. But as you notice, I scroll down here, we've got a bunch of these. Brazos does business auto. We've got, GMI. We've got a lot of these. And, of course, we've got more companies signing up with us all the time. So we're constantly adding to this. Now, you're going to notice there's a lot of other icons here, right? With the free account, which all of you have, you're only going to be able to access open brokerage, eSubmit or Appulate style markets. However, eSubmit and Appulate markets require that you already have an appointment. We do not assist in the appointment process. You cannot get a quote. The system will just not let you proceed with doing a quote. So any of these markets here you see with this cloverleaf here or with this, you are able to do them if you're already appointed. So you may scroll through here and realize, oh, hey, I'm already with BGA Solutions. I've already got an appointment. You can use Appulate for free to connect with them. These markets pay for your access. Now, the other ones that you see, these web links, these require a premium service. But what these do is these actually take the data. So like Travelers is a really good example here. If you're already appointed with Travelers and you got our premium service, this would actually take the data and push it into their website for you. So instead of you having to copy and paste everything into their website or manually type it in, it's going to automatically fill these for you. And again, that's what part of our premium service. If you're interested in knowing more about this, you can reach out to our sales team, sales@appulate.com. They'd be happy to do a demonstration of all the advanced features that you get when you go premium. But we're going to go ahead and dive back into our demo here. So we're going to go ahead and, so let's say we decided, we wanted to add one of these markets, Asia or Leisure or, whichever one we wanted. You would simply hit add markets here, okay? And then you would type their name up top, right? Now for our demonstration today, I've got a test market that I use uh, for purposes here so that I could go through it. But you would choose, an open brokerage market down here. And what it is these brokerage markets will only show for the line of business that you've chosen. So if they don't do that line, they won't show here. So for example, like, when we were looking over here, like We Sure, this is a BOP, right? You're not going to see We Sure on this list because they don't do workers' comp. So that's why they're not on here. But you can simply just type in a market here and you can add it really easily. So for now, we're going to just do the testing one just to move forward. Now, this gets really easy from here. So if you notice here, we've got an Appulate style quote, but we've also got what's called an automatic quote. So some of these markets on that matrix here, if you notice, have a little lightning bolt by them, and some just have the standard cloverleaf. The standard cloverleaf is going to be what you're probably familiar with. It's refer to underwriter. It's going to send it to the underwriter. Underwriter is going to respond back, and that could be either in the system or an email back to you, one of the two. But if it's an instant quote like we see here, we're going to get real-time information as well as a real-time quote. So all I got to do is go over here and hit start quote. Now also to note, there is some additional functions down at the very end down here. If you notice, I can remove this market off. I can send an email to the market. I can mark it as bound, mark it as submitted, review questionnaires, anything I want to do. There's a bunch of stuff on the end down here. But we're going to go ahead and click the blue and go ahead and go into this here. Okay, from here, as you notice, it's already brought in some information for me. So I'm going to go ahead and go, if you notice these little reds, now yours could, depending on how much data you brought in and your cord, you may have more information to fill out than I have. So for me, I like to do show required questions only, just really focuses it down for me. So I'm going to hit that, and it's going to take me right to the questions I need. So it looks like this location has a red asterisk, so we're going to go and click into it and see what we've got here. So we need to enter a class code. We'll try, I don't know if they will do this one, but we're going to give it a try. And then as you notice down here, I've got some more. Does insured use motor vehicles for this purposes? We'll just say no, 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 no. And then any claims, we'll just say no. Okay, oops. We'll say no there. Okay, we've got all that there. Looks like we've got all the data done. Now, again, we've got this Ask Insured button showing up here again. So again, if we wanted to ask the insured some of these answers, we could simply just hit Ask Insured. Same thing applies here. We go right back into that questionnaire. We can send these questions over to the insured to answer, and you can do the required questions only. So again, putting some power back in the insured to answer those questions for you. From there, all you got to do is go down here and hit Request Quote. Now, I'm hoping they do this class code. Not sure on this one, but we'll find out here. And there we go. Yep. So we were greenlit with the quote. So I could click into here and I can actually view the quote here. So here's the quote that they gave me back. Okay. Now, if you were not appointed with them, and this was you were using this as an open brokerage, at this point you would need to move forward with the binding process. So how you do that, I'm going to show you. It's really easy to do. We go to markets up here, okay, and you're going to go to available. It could be an available or selected, but we'll try available. So we'll go available, and in this case we would type in employers. Okay, so here's my employers market. I would click into here, and then if you notice right down here, I've got appointment. I can go into here to appointment. So it's saying, hey, you need to have them added as a market. Okay, let's go back here and let's add employers as a market. Oops, other way. Employers. Okay, we're going to add them as a market. Hit this little plus icon. Now, once I go back to selected, I've got them here. I can just simply click on the name. Okay, and now I can go down to appointment. And here we go. Marking this as appointment makes it Appulate only. So basically with like employers, they're not an open brokerage. But if they were, what would happen is it would have instructions here. So let me show you a better example of this here. Let me get Volta. It's a good one. So we'll do Volta. I'll add them. They've got really good instructions. So we'll go into selected. We'll take a look at Volta, and we'll go into appointment. And here you go. So for example, so not appointed, what I can do is I can follow all these steps here. I can complete all my paperwork, upload any of these files, e-sign, and then when I'm all done, I hit this request appointment. And then in a few days, hopefully sooner, Volta's able to process that, approve me, and now I can finish the binding. So then I can go back, then I'd be able to go back into my quote that I have. So we'll go back into quotes, all active. Here's my nursery quote, go back in. And then once I'm appointed, I would then be able, this button wouldn't say share with insured, this would say bind. You could simply click that, you would follow through, really super simple. So in our case, let's go ahead and say that, so here's that bind. Look, I apologize, I guess we moved it over here. But in my case, let's say we went ahead and we bound that. I'm going to demonstrate that by using this mark as bound feature to show you what happens after we bind it. So once we bind it here, what we're going to do is we're going to say mark as bound. Okay. So now it's saying, hey, we're going to mark it as bound in the system. You can only real bind it on the employer's website. Okay. But for now, we're going to say mark as bound. Now what the system is going to do is it's going to convert us over to a bound policy screen. From here, we're going to add some additional information on the left under the summary section. And now if we want to create a renewal for this, and this is where Appulate gets really handy here, we can create an automatic renewal for this 90 days before the renewal process, giving you plenty of time. So if I did this, I would hit save, and what will happen is it'll create a brand new renewal for me 90 days prior next year. And it's that simple. And then I can simply, from here, I can upload any additional documents, I can share things with the insured from here, anything I want to do from this screen. Now, let's go ahead and revert this back to quote so that we can go into other things here. So once we've got some quotes here, we can also go up here to compare quotes. So if you notice, I've got one quote here. Once you add a second or more quotes, there will be a new little window that'll open up here, and you'll be able to share all these with your, so like I could hit select all, and I could hit share with insured. And what this is going to do is it's going to enable you to send all these over to your insured, and you can kind of give them a menu to choose from. So maybe, for example, you like to show different coverage levels, right? So maybe you want to show 1 million and then 5 million and 10 million, or or business auto, you want to show different coverage levels to your customer. You could send them multiple different ones, send those over to them and say, hey, which one do you want? And it gives them the ability to kind of pick from a menu per se. So I really like the feature. It works real nice. After that, the next thing we're going to cover is this little triple hamburger button is what they like to call it. It's like a bun and a burger and a bun on top. So you simply click this, and if you notice here, it's giving me access to these three, but there's also a whole new section down below. So there is a form section. However, with Appulate, you're going to find that you're going to need premium access in order to access Accord forms. This is another feature with our premium service that you can get just simply by emailing support@appulate.com. let them know you're on the webinar and you kind of did a light demo, but you'd like to see more of the features, and they'll be happy to go into that for you. From here, we can go into our Loss Runner tab. Now, this is included on our service now. This used to be a paid service many years ago, but we've now made it a free service. So if you're paying companies like Loss Run Pro or anything like that, this service is very close to that, and it's a free service. We just include it right into here. How you do that is you hit Start Loss Runner, and then in here you've got a couple different letters to choose from. You got a broker of record letter, a letter of authorization, agency or insured loss run. Most agents that are using for like new business, it's going to be a letter of authorization, existing BOR, right? So we'll leave it letter of authorization, makes it real easy here. If you've got an image for your insured, sometimes this does help these go through a little easier. You can just drop their image onto here and it'll make it on their letterhead, which is kind of neat. Now down below, if you notice, we've got Agora West and with their loss run department already pre-populated. As I mentioned earlier in our meeting, we've been around since 2005. We've built a massive database of all of these. So we've got, I don't know, 10,000 or more of these loss run departments already loaded in here. All you've got to do is click the red, select where you want to send it to. So in this case here, I'm going to choose this fax. Now you may find sometimes when you click these, you might get multiple choices. Just choose the one that you think is best. This is kind of a public facing. Anybody can add a new phone number in here. But if you find one that's failing for any reason, let us know. Email support or email me so we can keep that clean. That would be great. Okay. From here, we're going to scroll down. And if you notice, this information is already good. It's not in red. We're going to continue to scroll down. And this is where the bulk of the message is located. So if I was to change this to the BOR, you're going to notice all it's doing is it's just changing this wording here. That's all it's doing. So it's not changing anything else in here. But if you notice, we've got the request here. We've got our insured contact. It's in red. We do need to add a little bit of information here. So we'll just put test, and then I'll just put a fictitious email in here. Okay. Now at this point, you've got a couple choices down here. You can remind me about this request. So you could put in, 20 days or 15 days, whatever you want. And the system will generate an email reminder of you to check up on these loss runs, okay? From here to send this out, you're gonna just hit send. What it's gonna do the moment you hit send, I'm just gonna download the preview to show you here. It's gonna send out a document just like this. It's gonna automatically add the signature boxes for you. It's gonna email it to the email that you selected just a moment ago. So that's the one down here. It's going to email them. They're going to digitally sign it, and then it automatically sends it out via fax or email, whichever you chose on that previous screen. So this is going to save you a good 20 minutes for every loss run that you're sending out. When I myself was an agent prior to joining Appulate, I had a template already. I would use DocuSign, put them all in, and then I had to figure out who I had to send it to and all this stuff. It was time consuming. So this just speeds things up quite a bit. Now, a couple things I want to point out with this, and make sure that I'm not what's the word I'm looking for here? Kind of overselling it, right? Once you send it out via fax or email, we have no more viewability of it. So once that customer signs it and the system sends it out, we can't track it. We can't see where it's at. You'll need to follow up with the specific company, the carrier or the GA or whoever you sent that out to. You'll need to follow up with them specifically in order to get details on that loss run. Different states also have different laws. I'm sure you're probably familiar with your current states, like California, for example, 10 business days to get them back to you, but they must email or fax them to the customer directly. Even though you may request to have them sent to you, if they follow the spirit of the law, they're going to send it to the insured, not you. Okay, and that's the loss runner. There's some other things too, just real quick with the loss runner. Once you do send it out, this little tab down below will open up. It'll show you what you sent out, and it'll have a little have some information down here. And then once they sign it, it'll also show their name and when they date and time signed it, as well as the signed documents. So really good there. The next section is the documents tab. So let's say that you need to upload a supplemental to go with your submission, or you need to upload other documents. You just simply do that here by hitting upload files, and you can upload anything from your local desktop right into the system. What will happen is they'll be flagged. You'll notice it'll have your name beside it. That's to show that these are forms that you brought into the system. And then really the last thing we want to kind of cover today, before we go into some help section stuff, is going to be our activity log. This is going to be kind of your due diligence section here. So it's going to show the moment we created the log, when we uplinked what file. So if you notice, it's got my cord here. It's got the questionnaire updated whenever I answered any questions. If I sent over that Ask Insured, it would show all the questions that they answered me, which is really neat. It'll show all the changes there. So it shows we created the document here, policy bound at this time and date, with the, with this quote. It's just going to log all these things. And the reason why I say it's for due diligence is, let's say you were to ever, knock on wood, no, hopefully no, it doesn't happen. Let's say you were to get audited and you needed to show all your records that you submitted to at least three, between 3 and 5 carriers. Well, you would be able to show time and date stamps of all of that right in the Appulate system. So it's a great system of record for things like that. You can even download it in Excel if you want to do so. Do note, if you download it in Excel, it's unfortunately going to only use these 3 categories. The comment section, it's just too tedious for our engineers to develop this out. So we don't have that. But you can always copy and paste whatever information you needed into that Excel document for that. All right, the last thing I wanted to cover today before we get into questions is help stuff. So with the standard version of Appulate, we don't offer direct one-on-one support. We will help you via our support@appulate.com email to assist you, with things, but we don't do like one-on-one trainings or anything like that with the free version. The premium version does offer those solutions, as I've kind of been mentioning the premium during this call. But for you, if you want to really kind of figure it out on your own, or you want to, maybe you're stuck and you're like, I just want to try to figure this out real quick, our help center is a great place to go. So you can go into help here. You can search for answers. So let's say we have issues with uplink. I type in uplink, and here we go. Here's uplink for Windows, or maybe I use Epic, and it's going to show me how to use Epic or Mac or other things, right? Or, let's say I am having market questions, right? Adding markets, Q&A. There's a bunch of stuff in here, and we've got a lot of other features built right in here as well. And then the last thing I want to show you, under help, we've got our quick start guide. So I've already shown most of this already today, but if you click on quick start guide here, it's basically going to give you a 5-minute quick start. If you forget everything I showed you today, you could go here and it's going to really kind of just walk you through a lot of the things we did today. So how to request a quote, training resources, all these things. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to questions now. And so there's a little question box. Everybody is muted. I don't open it up just because, there's always that one person that's got, their dog in the background, or, the door's closing all the time. So if you guys could use the question section to type out any questions you have, I'd be happy to answer these for you. One question I typically get on these webinars, will I be emailed a copy? Anybody who registered for this, whether you attended today or didn't attend today, or you jumped in late, you are going to get a copy of today's webinar. Typically, we send those out tomorrow. We may be able to get it to it today. I can't make any promises, but typically within 24 hours of today's webinar, you should get a copy of that. If by Monday you have not received a copy, please email me at dking@appulate.com, and I would be happy to answer those, to help figure that out. So again, those emails are shown here. We've got no questions here today. I know somebody's got to ask something. All right, well, if nobody's got any questions, we're going to go, oh, here we go. Great presentation, very informative, good. I look forward to seeing some submissions from you, Ashley, or is it Elisha, excuse me. I read that too fast, I apologize. Yep, looking forward to seeing you do some submissions in the system. If, like I said, if anybody's got any questions or anything after today's meeting, you can email me, email our technical support, or email sales@Appulate for more information on our premium features. Just like I said, let them know you joined our webinar today. It's not required, but it just kind of gives them an insight as to what level of knowledge you know of Appulate. That way they're not kind of asking you a million questions about, what do you know? All right, we're going to go and wrap it up here. And again, we'll go ahead and send out a copy of this to everybody tomorrow. So thank you all for your time today. I really appreciate it. I hope you all have a nice day and happy quoting.